go. All right. So good morning, everyone. This is one of the best snacks I know at the moment. And not an ad. Propod chocolate mousse. Some high protein kind of thing, but it tastes awesome. Tastes really, really good. All right. I don't know why my my computer my OBS keeps crashing every time I don't know, something happens, the mic just gets disconnected and it crashes. It's super weird. Anyway, let's continue. Yeah, my development environment is not perfect. Like, wait. No, Godot didn't die. Editor could not be open. Okay, so save and quit. So the language server, it is connected. Strange. All right, let's add inactivate chunk code. Can we, is it enough to just make it invisible? It's still gonna take up some memory, but at least it's not gonna be rendered. Testing the sound. Testing sound. Alrighty. Would it be enough to do terrain chunk X chunk set dot, what is it we're adding to the parent here when we're packaging the mesh instance? What if we do dot visibility? What is visibility mode? There is something. Let's check player, for example. There should be something here. Toggle visibility. Here. Visible. The node is only visible if all of its ancestors are visible as well. Yeah, so it's enough that we do it on the top node. So it should be enough here to just do would be interesting in the game, but now I'm adding scope. I shouldn't do that yet, but if there's an actual ecosystem of animals, if you kill them off, they don't reappear. If you kill all of the wolves, like all of the predators, their targets will, like the rabbits or the deers or whatever, there will become more of those. Like if you kill off the trees, they will starve. And the other way around, so it could be like a ecological diversity simulator. If the player wants that. And here I think we need to check if the chunk already exists and it's invisible. We should just make it visible. If chunk exists and is invisible, toggle chunk visibility. Else we do all of this. No, maybe this is actually what we should do, where we're calling this generate chunk. If toggle chunk visibility, we just give it chunk, else generate chunk. Toggle chunk exists and is visible. And chunk.y in terrain chunk.x and terrain chunk.x chunk.y and yeah, we have it there. And mesh instance in equals true. I can actually just return this, by the way. Toggle chunk visibility. Just make it equal the opposite. And is invisible. False. Then it will just toggle the visibility, otherwise it has to generate it all. Here it does inactivate chunk, and it does how do I pop it from active chunks? GDScript. Array. What are the methods? What erase? Oh, okay, let's try that. Active chunks.erase chunk. Let's see if this works. Now we can inactivate, it removes it from the active list. Here it's, if the chunk has been generated earlier, it's just gonna make it visible instead of recreating it. It makes it inactive, removes it from active. Let's try this, and with a smaller chunk size of like 5. Hey Jet, what's up? I suggest you make function blur that accept another function f like get noise and xy. And then inside it, we'll call f multiple times with different xy's and average them. It will help many times. What would the purpose of that function be? What problem would it solve? Blur maps. Okay. And why? Why would that be useful? You have double trees now. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'll think about it. Okay, does it? Yeah, look, it actually removes the chunks that I'm not in. So it kind of moves along with me. That is cool. However, yeah, this is super cool. However, the collision shape is still there. And the trees as well. Of course, the trees are still there. Hey, Speed Boosty. Thank you. So this is purely about visibility then. A lot of the chunks are invisible, and then a few are visible. Can I change them? Oh, I can actually. There should only be 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 visible. But so the collision shape is there. What if I toggle the visibility of all of it? I can't really see that here, unfortunately. But I think at least there will be no rendering. Maybe it's fine that the collision shape is still there. That's going to be a lot of things to keep in memory though, after a while of playing. Maybe they should just all be removed. All together. Yeah, exactly. You need to stop simulations and everything at some distance. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, one thing is the terrain, but I think it's going to be even more complicated when we start thinking about like adding animals and stuff to the game. At what point do we remove an animal? Do we keep track of it when it's not in the vicinity of the player? And what about the trees? I mean, it makes sense to have them belong to a chunk, so maybe they should just be removed when they're not within scope, and then spawn back in when they are. But then there's some corner cases or like edge cases. For example, what happens if you chop down a tree, and it becomes a loose object, and it's on the border between two chunks? What happens then? They probably need to always belong to a chunk. The data needs to be saved, but they need to be despawned or something. Yeah. All right, I'll try to despawn everything and also make the trees belong to the chunks, so they also get despawned. How do I time this out? I know how to do it on my phone. Oh yeah, like that. Oh, ban. Maybe that was too... Okay, yeah, why not ban, by the way? There we go. Banhammer, yeah. The banhammer with a smiley on it. We're banning with pleasure. Okay. So it's actually not about visibility. I'm glad this actually worked on the first attempt, by the way. But we don't want to inactivate it. We want to... First step could be just to delete it. Second would be to drop Q or queue free queue. I always forget this method name. Queue free. The problem then is going to be if we terraformed something somewhere, like we need to keep, but we actually do, by the way. We keep the data. It's just about queuing, freeing the queue of the mesh instance and all of its children. Then we still have the data in our terrain data structure. That might actually work. Yeah, cool, look at that. Much better. And now let's bring the trees in. Maybe for now we can just have them be regenerated and removed every time. They need to belong to a chunk, though, so we can keep track of them. And by the way, I just learned, I didn't know that this was possible, that you can free the queue of an item. Like this mesh instance reference actually points at the same object that is in the tree. So we could just manipulate it and free the queue from here instead of like going through nodes and knowing what the nodes are called. Hey Naviduki, what's up? Good Sunday. Happy Sunday. How are you doing today? So we can free the queue here. Remove trees in chunk. Remove, let's call it like despawn. So I think the tree data is similar to the data we have on the terrain. It has to be separated from the objects themselves. So we have like the truth in our terrain data structure. And then like just dropping everything in that chunk is fine because we have all the data stored to make it reappear again in the same shape it was when we last saw it. And maybe that makes sense. Then you can kind of stop simulating everything as soon as you move out of it. It kind of just freezes in time. Like even when you have animals and monsters and stuff moving around in it, you just freeze it, move on, and then when you come back in, it resumes. As long as the world is big enough, or like the chunks are big enough, I don't think you will notice that. Oh yeah, you basically said the same thing. Everything in your world needs to be assigned to a chunk. You need functions to interact with them. Would make a class that represents a chunk in general. Yeah. That might be the way to go soon. This world generator file is becoming quite big. Not much. I see you have done some improvements. Thank you. Thank you. Are you still playing Last Epoch? Okay, I think I'll get the data structure right first. I'll make it into a class when it works. But let's add the tree data wherever we are generating the chunk. Spawn tree at. Let's give it a vector 3. Or maybe everything in the chunk should just be relative. Like local distances. Cool, cool. I haven't played it in like a week or something. I'm being very... I'm very occupied with the game development. It's been so much fun lately. Yes, yes, yes.
Lät så mycket. Jag fattar.
Hey Adam, what's up? What's up? So what game am I working on? I'm trying to build like a can show you what it looks like at the moment. It's gonna be some kind of open world, procedurally generated like sandbox game where you like craft and build houses or defenses. And there's like some gathering, some animals, some monsters. We'll see. Yeah, I know it stopped on Twitch. Is it up again? I accidentally killed the stream. For some reason, it dies. I have this button on my mic here. So when I press that with my Mac, not with my Windows PC, but with my Mac, it just dies. When I press the mute button on my mic here. So my girlfriend just came home. So I wanted to say hi. So I wanted to mute. OBS crashes. Oh, it's up again. Cool. So I just need to never mute. Spawn tree at vector 3. No, this is not. Yeah, let's give it a vector 3 and then a chunk. No. Vector 3. The chunk. And here we'll give it... What was the code here now? I forgot. I'll just just go and check it quickly on GitHub. World generator, we're about line 141. Sample X, vector Y average, sample C, okay. Chunk is not declared. Oops. Let's just start sending chunks instead of XC. So where do we use chunk X? In a lot of places. Can probably just extract those values here. Chunk, var chunk X. Chunk set equals chunk dot Y, because it's a vector too. Chunk. Thanks, Speed Boost Boy, by the way, for coming in the YouTube chat and saying. So this should be a D3. Get I'm thinking about how to do the access to that terrain thing in the best way. Terrain. This data structure, I'm a bit distracted right now as well, to be honest. This data structure, it becomes very convoluted right now. Like the API to get there, like it's just so much. If terrain chunk.x chunk.y. So then we'll probably need to do like trees in. Should this be an array? Append new tree. What is it complaining about? What? Do I need to do like that? No. If x in O. Yeah, maybe I do. Dot trees dot append. Else yeah, don't try to do this at home. Don't try to learn from what I'm doing here. Honestly, this is not pretty. Else chunk X, chunk Y. I'm just gonna get this to work for trees, then I will break it out into its own class. And create some good APIs for the chunks. Equals empty array that we put new tree in. Does that work? Yeah. And so When we then move out of a chunk, despawn trees in chunk. Får du plats? Thank you.
Det finns så att det räcker med sallad och sås och grejer till dig också om du vill ha lunch.
Tack. Just want this to be chunk. Chunk. For a tree in terrain chunk X chunk Y dot trees tree.q3. Be right back. All right. Invalid. Get index trees. Oh, we need to check if that exists, because in some chunks it's not gonna. If there are no trees. Maybe that's the problem. If trees in. What's wrong? Yeah, nice. And then it comes back. Wait, attempt to call function queue freed on base previously freed. On a null instance. Is that because I'm going back there? Where does it even happen? Hmm. These trees are still there, I think. In the code. The references are still there. So if I move back here. That's where it fails. If instance valid. Can we try that? This is Godot 3. Yeah. I think actually how this code works now is it's gonna have a lot of trees. Like a lot of inactive trees in that list as we move in and out. I think the tree that we see is valid, but it's not the same tree as was there before. This might work temporarily though. No? Oh, I didn't save it. Okay, kind of works. Refactor the chunk to be cleaner. What? No, not yet. But create a chunk class. Oh, Jet, sorry I missed this because the OBS crashed. This is half an hour ago now, but you may need to assign objects to chunks and store coordinates relative to chunk, but when it's loaded, it would convert it to, yeah, universal, exactly. New file. Chunk. I would like the chunk to have functions like, or methods, I guess it becomes here. Methods like remove, clear from, clear from world. Something like it's gonna need to have a fields like chunk. Oops. Chunk X, chunk Z. And so when we initialize it, I don't remember what that looks like in GDScript. Init. Cool. I'm just gonna go get some lunch. I'll think I'll go offline for a little bit. I might come back on later. Cool. Thank you so much for watching. See you later. Bye bye.